Good morning, everybody. My name is Shoshanna Gross. I'm here today with John Barker, our CEO and President of the Ohio Restaurant Association. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you.
So as you all know, this is our daily dose. So we're going to be talking about some issues that are relevant and current to the industry today. And we know that President Biden and the American Rescue Plan has announced some information about the $15 minimum wage and tip credit. John, can you tell us just a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's a pretty big bill that the president has kind of put out under the rescue plan. And by the way, there's a version now from Congress, Democrats in Congress, as well as Republicans. But one of the things that's in President Biden's is a change in the minimum wage that would move it in a stair-step fashion from today at $7.25, would move it up to $15 an hour. And so that's one of the components of it. The second component of it is over time, the elimination of what we refer to as the tip credit in our industry. And that's very unique to the restaurant industry. The minimum wage would affect many industries, but the tip credit is very unique to ours. In both cases, we are going to, weigh in with thoughts on, the impact that this could have, on particularly small businesses at a time when many of those small businesses are already under duress. Many of them have closed, many of them are kind of teetering. And, we're just going to talk to our elected officials about, is this the right time to kind of push strongly on something like that, as opposed to perhaps moving the minimum wage up like it does in some other states, moving with inflation like it does here in Ohio, which would allow for some differentiation between places like Los Angeles and New York City and places that have a very expensive cost of living versus, Athens, Ohio, or Marysville, here in Ohio, places like that, where the cost of living is very different, so that we can, let both businesses and the employees, kind of survive in a time like this. Because quite honestly, if costs go up too fast on the labor line, there is no other way to handle this if you're a small business other than to figure out a way to have less labor. And that's not good. We really don't want that. And that's with people figuring out a way to maybe less service or to automate more and more of their business. Or the other option is to raise prices. And we've seen that in the past. And I don't have to look at any federal studies or anything that people have done. I've been in this business almost 30 years. If you raise the labor component, one of those two things will happen. I've seen it a million times, and I know our operators have as well. The tip credit is also a big deal because it's a way for people to, kind of make a lot more than the minimum wage. So even if the minimum wage is a 15 with no tip credit, many of our servers wouldn't like that because today they're already making more than $15. And so, the intention behind some of this stuff initially is good to try to, help people make a little bit more money. But then when you actually kind of dig down through it, it can be very problematic. So the National Restaurant Association is working, with the administration as well as with members in Congress. And we're going to be doing that as well. We'll be doing some calls, reach outs, letters. And in our memos that will be out this week that go to our members and others, we're asking for people to engage with their elected officials.
Great. So, if you do have an opinion about this, please share it with us at the Ohio Restaurant Association, and more importantly, make sure your elected officials hear from you. And our memo always has ways to get involved, as well as some language that other organizations like the National Restaurant Association are suggesting to use.
And, Shoshanna, quite honestly, some businesses can handle higher wages better than others, right? If you happen to be, for example, a fast casual restaurant that might have a very low labor component already because it's all takeout and things like that, handling a $15 minimum wage would be a lot easier than if you're a mom and pop where most of your business is sit down, where you have a high component of workers who are, kind of working the kind of the tables and everything. And so it's not one size fits all. It's very different. And we have to try to represent everybody.
Great. I know that we will, because we want to hear from our members and do our best to represent the whole swath of the industry that we represent. So speaking of government happenings, Governor DeWine has announced some of the ideas that are going on for the 2021 budget, 2021-22 budget. So how are restaurants being affected by this?
Yeah, so the governor put the first kind of salvo out there. Of course, it has to go through the legislature, and there'll be some excitement about that. But in that, $460 million were set aside to kind of spur the economy. And I think the governor has recognized that even with everything that's been done to help the restaurant business and small businesses, it's nowhere near enough. And so this would be things that would happen a little bit later this year. But $460 million aimed at spurring the economy, 200 million of that being set for restaurant and bars to receive grants up to $30,000 each. And so that's something that we gave a lot of input to his team. We've had, many interactions with Lieutenant Governor and with Lydia Mahalik, who is the head of sort of development for the state. And, they listen very carefully. They try to incorporate, the things that we present to them. We'll get more details on this soon. But once we have the details, and assuming this all makes it through and gets approved, we'll certainly want to make sure that our members get lined up for this, just like we did for the BWC dividends and the Bar and Restaurant Rescue Fund and other things that have come from the state.
Great. Well, looking forward to more on that to come. I know there's a long ways to go before we actually have a final budget from the state. Last week, we had a very fun pepperoni pizza experience with our Pizza with a Purpose. So we just wanted to take a second to thank everybody who participated. We had a great turnout, right? How many restaurants or locations did we finally have participating?
Yeah, we had over 140 locations across the state and 35 different, I call companies that agreed. Sometimes the company was one pizza restaurant, but that's as important as, we had Romeo's Pizza come in with multiple locations. And so everything mattered. And what a great week we had. People had a lot of fun with it. Such a great cause to raise, money for the relief fund. And soon, once we tally that up, we'll be giving out the Golden Slice Trophy, which will be a lot of fun. And most importantly, those participating restaurants will be sending in the dollars to the relief fund. And then in the not too distant future, we'll be writing checks out to those who have applied for help. And that's become a big component of the ORA, Shoshanna, giving back and helping facilitate giving back to those in need.
Absolutely. We couldn't do it without every company that participated, all of the people who chose to sacrifice their January resolutions to eat pepperoni pizza all week long. Hey. I know you ate a lot of pepperoni last week.
I ate a lot of pizza last week. It was for a good cause.
It was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, our team, so many people on our team participated in making this happen. But, Patty Halper on our team, who runs our education foundation, is sort of at the center of all this. And Patty told me I had to eat pizza every day of the week, and I followed orders.
Well, thank you very much for your sacrifice for the good of the industry. The ORA has a new message out that members are welcome to use as well, which is take your bubble out to eat. You want to just talk a little bit about that, what the idea is behind it?
Yeah, you may recall that we've had a number of different campaigns to try to, to reach out to the public. So this is what we call business to consumer, right? And the idea is to get people to think about when they go out to eat, following the guidance from our governor and health officials. Go out with people that you're already living with, you feel are safe, that have been following, all the dine safe procedures. That, restaurants are safe, but individuals that you're going out with have also been wearing masks and social distancing and cleaning and sanitizing and washing hands and things like that. It's just another layer of safety and precaution so that you can enjoy yourself. And by the way, that's only for people who are comfortable going out. Those who are not, the second part of our campaign will be, order takeout for your bubble, right? So we'll have some fun with this, and we're going to make these materials available to our members so that they can send it out as well through their communications in like ours on social media. And then in a few weeks, Shoshanna, we will have a new digital campaign, some video around this. And so that's coming. It'll be exciting.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, John. And we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thanks.